Welcome back to Narrative Network. What if a single selfless act could change your life forever? This is the incredible story of Aiden, a humble young boy who risked everything to save a stranger. But what happens next is beyond his wildest dreams. A wealthy man's gratitude turns Aiden's world upside down in the most extraordinary way. Stay until the end to uncover the twists, surprises, and heartwarming journey that proves kindness can truly transform lives. How would you react if an act of courage brought you an unimaginable reward? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one. Let's dive into this unforgettable tale of bravery, gratitude, and the ripple effects of kindness. 14-year-old Aiden Johnson lived in a small, rundown neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. His family struggled to make ends meet. His father worked long hours as a mechanic, and his mother took odd jobs wherever she could. Despite their hardships, they were a close-knit family, and Aiden was a kind and selfless boy who often put others before himself. On most days after school, Aiden would head to the park near his neighborhood to collect cans for recycling. He dreamed of saving enough money to buy a bicycle so he wouldn't have to walk the long distance to school every day. Though life wasn't easy, Aiden carried a quiet optimism that one day things would get better. One afternoon, while Aiden was walking home from the park, he passed by the local river that ran alongside a quiet, upscale neighborhood. As he strolled along the riverbank, something caught his attention: a loud splash and frantic cries for help. Looking toward the water, he saw a woman struggling against the current. Her arms flailed, and her cries were faint but desperate. Without hesitation, Aiden dropped his bag of cans and sprinted toward the river. "Hold on!" he shouted as he dove into the water. Though the current was strong and the river cold, Aiden paddled with all his strength, pushing against the current to reach the woman. She was exhausted, her movements weakening, and Aiden knew he had to act fast. With a firm grip, he managed to grab her arm and pull her toward the riverbank. His heart pounded as he used every ounce of strength to drag her to safety. Once on the shore, the woman gasped for air, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You saved my life." Aiden offered her his jacket and helped her sit up. "Are you okay? Do you need me to call someone?" "I'm fine," she replied, catching her breath. "My name is Evelyn. I was walking by the river when I slipped. I don't know how I'll ever thank you." Aiden shrugged modestly. "I'm just glad you're okay." Once Evelyn regained her strength, she thanked Aiden again and insisted he give her his address. "I need to let my husband know about this. He'll want to thank you personally." Aiden hesitated, but eventually gave her the information. He didn't think much of it. After all, he had only done what he believed anyone else would do in his position. As Evelyn walked away, Aiden gathered his belongings and headed home, wet and shivering, but feeling a sense of pride in what he had done. The next morning, Aiden was helping his mother in their small kitchen when there was a knock at the door. When he opened it, he was surprised to see a tall, well-dressed man standing on their porch. Behind him was a sleek black car parked by the curb. "Good morning," the man said with a kind smile. "I'm Thomas Reynolds. My wife Evelyn told me about what you did yesterday. You saved her life, and for that, I can't thank you enough." Aiden's eyes widened. "Oh, it was nothing, sir. I just happened to be there." Thomas chuckled. "Nothing? My wife says you risked your own life to save hers. That's not nothing. May I come in?" Aiden nodded, stepping aside to let him in. His parents, hearing the conversation, greeted Thomas warmly, though they were clearly surprised by the visit. Over coffee, Thomas explained that he was a businessman and owner of several successful companies. He had married Evelyn years ago, and she was the love of his life. "I owe you a debt I can never repay," Thomas said to Aiden. "But I'm going to try." Aiden shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "You don't have to do anything, sir. I'm just glad she's okay." Thomas smiled. "That's exactly why you deserve this." The next day, Thomas returned with a lawyer and a briefcase. He handed Aiden a letter and a document explaining that he had set up a trust fund in Aiden's name with $10 million. "This is for you," Thomas said. "It's not just about rewarding you for saving Evelyn. It's about giving you the opportunities you deserve." Aiden's parents were speechless. His mother wiped away tears, and his father shook Thomas's hand repeatedly, unable to find the words to express their gratitude. Aiden, overwhelmed, managed to ask, "Why so much? I don't need all this." Thomas placed a hand on Aiden's shoulder. "Because kindness like yours is priceless. I've built my life on hard work and generosity, and I see those same qualities in you. I want to invest in your future, because I believe you'll do great things." With the trust fund in place, Aiden's life began to change. Thomas introduced him to mentors who helped him navigate his newfound wealth responsibly. Instead of spending recklessly, Aiden used the money to better his family's situation. He bought a modest home for his parents, ensuring they would never have to worry about bills again. But Aiden didn't stop there. Remembering the struggles of his neighborhood, he began investing in local projects. He funded scholarships for underprivileged kids, repaired the community center, and started programs to provide meals and supplies for struggling families. Despite his wealth, Aiden remained humble. He continued to focus on his education, driven by a desire to honor the faith Thomas had placed in him. Years passed, and Aiden grew into a successful entrepreneur, following in Thomas's footsteps. He founded a company that focused on sustainable development, creating jobs and opportunities for people in struggling communities. His business flourished, but his heart remained rooted in the values he had learned growing up. Aiden and Thomas maintained a close bond, and Evelyn often referred to Aiden as the son they never had. Together, they worked on philanthropic projects, expanding their efforts to help even more people. One day, Aiden invited Thomas and Evelyn to a grand opening ceremony for a new school he had funded in their honor. The Thomas and Evelyn Reynolds Academy was dedicated to providing high-quality education to children from all backgrounds. During his speech, Aiden said, "Years ago, I was just a boy collecting cans by the river. That day, I thought I was helping Evelyn, but the truth is, her and Thomas's generosity changed my life. Today, we celebrate not just a school, but the power of kindness and how it can transform lives." Thomas, visibly moved, embraced Aiden. "You've done more than I ever imagined, son. You've made us proud." Aiden's work didn't stop at funding schools and creating jobs in his local community. Inspired by the mentorship he had received from Thomas and Evelyn, he began expanding his initiatives globally. Aiden launched a foundation called the Ripple Effect Fund, focusing on education, healthcare, and sustainable development in underserved areas around the world. One of the first projects was a clean water initiative in rural Africa. Aiden personally traveled to oversee the project, working alongside local leaders to install wells and filtration systems. The experience humbled him even further as he saw firsthand the challenges faced by communities with limited resources. During one of his visits, a young boy approached him, holding his little sister's hand. "Thank you for bringing us clean water," the boy said in a soft voice. "Now my sister doesn't have to walk so far, and she can go to school." Aiden knelt down, smiling at them. "You're welcome. Remember, kindness can change everything. Always help each other." As the Ripple Effect Fund grew, Thomas and Evelyn remained integral to its mission. Though they had initially viewed themselves as mentors, they began to see Aiden as their equal and even their inspiration. "I thought I was teaching you," Thomas said during a strategy meeting, "but you've taught me that generosity isn't just about giving. It's about empowering others to create their own change." Evelyn added, "And you've done that in ways we never could have imagined." Together, the three of them spearheaded projects in disaster relief, women's education, and renewable energy. Their partnership became a symbol of how one act of courage and gratitude could unite people across generations and backgrounds. Despite the overwhelming success, Aiden faced challenges along the way. Some questioned his rapid rise, while others doubted the sincerity of his philanthropy, accusing him of seeking fame or personal gain. During a particularly difficult period, Aiden turned to Thomas for advice. "How do you deal with people who doubt you?" he asked. Thomas leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. "You don't focus on the doubters, Aiden. You focus on the people you're helping. Let the work speak for itself. Actions always speak louder than words." Those words stayed with Aiden. He doubled down on his efforts, using transparency and accountability to show that his work was driven by genuine compassion. Over time, the doubts faded, and his reputation as a leader and philanthropist solidified. Though Aiden's impact was global, he never forgot where he came from. He frequently returned to his childhood neighborhood, ensuring that the community continued to thrive. He funded scholarships, built new parks, and even opened a community center that provided free classes in technology, arts, and entrepreneurship. At the grand opening of the center, Aiden addressed the crowd. "This is where it all began for me. This neighborhood shaped who I am, and it's my honor to give back. Remember, no matter how small your actions may seem, they can create ripples that change the world." Among the attendees was his former teacher, Miss Carter, who had once encouraged Aiden to dream big despite his circumstances. She approached him afterward with tears in her eyes. "I always knew you were destined for greatness," she said. "You've made us all so proud." As Aiden continued to grow his initiatives, he focused on empowering others to carry the torch. He launched leadership programs for young changemakers, mentoring them to create their own projects and movements. One of his mentees, a young woman named Maria, stood out for her passion and vision. Maria had grown up in a refugee camp and dreamed of creating schools for displaced children. With Aiden's guidance, she launched her first project, which quickly expanded to serve thousands of students. "You're doing incredible work," Aiden told her during one of their meetings. "This is what the Ripple Effect Fund is all about, helping others create their own ripples." Maria smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you, Aiden. You've shown me that anything is possible." Years later, Aiden received an invitation to an awards ceremony honoring global philanthropists. To his surprise, the event included a tribute to Thomas and Evelyn Reynolds for their role in inspiring Aiden's journey. During his acceptance speech, Aiden said, "Thomas and Evelyn showed me the power of gratitude and kindness. They didn't just reward me for saving Evelyn. They invested in my future and trusted me to make a difference. Everything I've accomplished is because of their belief in me." Thomas, sitting in the audience with Evelyn, wiped away tears. "We always knew he'd do amazing things," he whispered to her. Even after Aiden's passing, his vision and efforts continued to inspire countless people. The Ripple Effect Fund, now helmed by the young leaders he mentored, expanded its reach to tackle pressing global challenges like climate change, access to clean water, and technological education in remote areas. Maria, Aiden's protege, became the foundation's president, bringing her unique experiences and perspectives to guide its mission. Under her leadership, the foundation launched a groundbreaking initiative called Ripples Across Borders, which connected communities from different parts of the world to collaborate on innovative solutions. Maria often quoted Aiden in her speeches. "No act of kindness is ever too small. It always starts a ripple." She made it her mission to ensure that his legacy reached every corner of the world. To celebrate Aiden's life and achievements, the foundation built a global headquarters called the Aiden Johnson Center for Kindness and Innovation. The center was not just an office, but a hub for changemakers, researchers, and dreamers to collaborate on initiatives that empowered communities. At the center's grand opening, Maria invited Thomas and Evelyn Reynolds to cut the ribbon. The elderly couple, frail but filled with pride, watched as children, educators, and philanthropists from around the world gathered to honor the man who had transformed their lives. In his speech, Thomas said, "Aiden often said that kindness creates ripples, but what he didn't realize is that he was the ripple. He was the one that changed the world." The ripple philosophy, based on Aiden's life and teachings, became a cornerstone of education worldwide. Schools implemented programs that taught children the importance of kindness, empathy, and giving back to their communities. Students learned not only through stories, but also through real-world projects that made a tangible difference. One young boy in a rural village, inspired by the ripple philosophy, started a campaign to plant trees in his deforested, immersive region. His efforts gained national attention, earning him recognition as a ripple leader, a title the foundation awarded to changemakers who embodied Aiden's values. Through initiatives like this, Aiden's story became more than a legacy. It became a movement that inspired millions to take action. As Thomas and Evelyn reached the end of their lives, they found solace in knowing they had played a role in something extraordinary. Before passing, Thomas wrote a letter to the Foundation's board, expressing his gratitude. "Aiden gave us far more than we ever gave him," he wrote. "He turned a moment of gratitude into a lifetime of change. Watching him grow, succeed, and uplift others has been the greatest honor of our lives." Their passing was marked by tributes and memorials around the world, with the Clara Lewis Centers, Ripple Effect Fund, and countless communities honoring their contribution to Aiden's story and the ripple of kindness they had fostered together. Decades later, Aiden's name became synonymous with kindness, courage, and the power of giving back. His life story was included in school curriculums, inspiring children to believe that even the smallest acts of bravery could spark incredible change. The annual Ripple Day, celebrated on the anniversary of Aiden's heroic act, became a global event where millions of people performed acts of kindness in his honor. Communities came together to volunteer, donate, and support causes that aligned with Aiden's mission. In a world forever changed by one boy's selfless act, the ripple effect continued to spread. Aiden's vision of kindness had transformed lives, bridged divides, and created opportunities for those who once had none. A quote from Aiden's memoir was etched into the walls of every Clara Lewis Center and Aiden Johnson Center. "Kindness isn't just an action, it's a legacy. Every ripple, no matter how small, reaches farther than we can imagine." Generations grew up learning that one moment of courage, one act of compassion, could change the world. And so, the ripples of Aiden's bravery flowed endlessly, a testament to the power of kindness and the extraordinary legacy of a young boy who dared to act. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more inspiring and heartwarming content. Share this video with your friends and family to spread the message of kindness and courage. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below, and we'll see you in the next video.